the way in which you and I interact with each other is the kind of relationship and accountability, respect and compassion and connectedness that I wish for every relationship. And I know you are the same. I'm fortunate to have incredible relationships. And so to meet somebody so recently and have us just both have done our own journey towards that makes it very rewarding. So thank you for that.
Same here. Same here. Makes it very easy once you've traveled a little while and
Yeah.
then say, hey, Karen, and then for you sharing, and then, yeah, there's growth that happens. That's actually a recent thing for me because I still have a little bit of this monk energy. It was like when things don't go well, I retreat
Hmm.
and go into my shell. And I'm learning recently that actually a lot of growth happens and enjoyment happens being together with other people.
Yep.
Who knew?
Yeah. And we've had some crunchy conversations. Not all of our conversations have been easy ones,
Right.
which is delightful.
Right. And it's interesting to me because we can now talk about crunchy like with a little sparkle in our eyes.
Mhm.
And I remember when we're in the crunchy conversations that there may not have been the sparkle, but what was there was a sense of deep respect for each other and for our own process.
Mhm.
And saying, I remember you saying something about, I'm on this journey, or I'm in this journey of, I'm processing, or me saying, what's true for me in this moment, and I don't know exactly where that's going to go. And that to me is the embodiment of the first two principles of connectedness. For me, they're trying to boil things down to three so I can remember, just for me, otherwise I forget. Like truth, being truthful and loving, like being true to myself, not knowing where that's going to go. I ended up in the studio because I was truthful to myself, right? Because that otherwise I would have never met you. I followed what I thought was important, which was working on climate, which I still do with ASU, and that's how we got in the studio, and that's how I met you, and so on and so forth. And in our conversation of crunch, also being loving, saying, Karen's saying something that may be different from how I see it. Even pushes my buttons. Let my buttons be pushed. It's
Right.
okay.
Yeah. And I think also letting go of the attachment to what the outcome's supposed to look like, I think is
Yes.
one of the things that we've committed to with each other.
Yes.
That all right, well let's see where this takes us. And as long as we come back to respect and compassion over and over again, it may move in the direction that we're both doing something together or may not. And all of it's okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love how this emerges because that's to me the third principle of connectedness, which is purposefulness as opposed to control. Like I like to think about things in terms of pairs so I can keep an eye on things. So it started off with owls and crocodiles,
Yes, talk about that.
which wasn't my idea. It was a therapist I worked with. He said to me, "So Hilka," after I blabbed for a while, he'd say, "So Hilka, who's talking right now? Is it your owl, your wise self, or is it your crocodile, your pesky reptilian ego, fear-based situation that's
Mm.
talking through you? What's talking right now?" And we had a lot of fun with this because whenever I didn't know, it was usually my crocodile
Right.
blabbing. So that sort of distinction between higher self, connected self, and disconnecting, fearful self, I found that for my makeup, it seems to help. And I found it also helpful working with teams and corporations because we're so busy. It's like, we're used to profit and loss. So why not owl and crocodile? Something very simple to grab around. And then in terms of the three principles of connectedness, which I've been working with the last year or so, as opposed to truth, it's self-obsession, like being lost in mind.
Mm.
And when I talk to you and we're in a crunch and I'm lost, then I'm thinking about all these thoughts and I gotta make this like, and I'm not present,
Yeah.
right?
It's
So that,
heavy, it's hard, it's
yeah, so it's going from that place of to truth, the
mhm,
truth of being, which Walt Whitman described. I love this phrase, a place of unfailing sufficiency.
unfailing sufficiency.
It's like it's okay.
Yeah.
And then as opposed to love, respect, judgment. It's like, Karen, how can you think that? Not my business.
Yeah.
And even if what you were thinking or saying at the time wasn't actually harmful, but even when people are saying things that are harmful, do I judge them or do I have compassion? Right? That's the second principle. And the third principle, as opposed to being purposeful, like what you elicited here, is having a sense of trying to be in control.